All right, let me know when you're starting to film.
Okay, started.
Hello, hello, my name is Melanie. Welcome to my new channel. I'm here to help those that are beginning to spiritually awaken. I'm an ascension guide, I'm a twin flame, and I'm a spiritual advisor. You know, I listen to the likes of channels Aaron Doty, Rising Higher Meditations, Love Motives. I've definitely gotten into a daily meditation and spiritual practice to uphold my vibration. And I'm here to teach you guys, how to break those cycles. My first video here is going to be an intro about the patterns that we awaken to, the patterns that are going on in our lives that are just like a vicious cycle repeating over and over again, and we don't know how to break these cycles. So if you find yourself wondering, why do I get into a process of accumulation where I think I've finally started to amass, whether it's money, material belongings, a great relationship, and then all of a sudden, stuff hits the fan, and you find yourself losing what you've accumulated. And this process can go over and over again until you realize and awaken to, what is the root of all this? What is the root of my problem? Why can't I maintain what I have accumulated? This has everything to do with your vibration and feelings of worthiness. This makes you an unstable receiver. That's what I like to call it, an unstable receiver. This happens when, there is a difference between entitlement versus deserving. And the difference between entitlement and deserving is the lack of gratitude. Gratitude has everything to do with how we maintain what we have without losing it. So for this video, we're going to address perhaps the ways in your life where you're feeling a lack of gratitude. Do you struggle with anxiety on a daily basis? Do you always worry about, am I going to lose what I've accumulated so far? Is there something in your life that gives you anxiety about whether it's going to be there forever or not? These are the things that are on unstable ground, and these are the things that you may be manifesting their loss because you're insecure about them. I'm going to use my life frequently as an example. I've definitely gone through a pattern of cyclic relationships, different man, same relationship, and I would get comfortable in these situations of convenience where I would be living under a man's roof, and I would be driving his car and using a phone on his service. Now, back then, I was in a state of entitlement. That means that I did not have my own things, but I somehow was in that conservative frame of thinking that men were meant to provide all these things to women. And the entitlement came from comparison to other women. I looked at other women that seemingly had their lives handed to them by a great man that just gave them everything, and I was like, why not me? So I started to manifest men that were providers. But this brought along all manner of insecure thinking, and I would always feel on some level walking on eggshells to maintain the relationship, always fearing in the back of my mind that all my lifestyle could be over at the drop of a hat if they chose to dump me, or if I couldn't bear the psychological abuse anymore. At some point I had to make a change. I had to come to a place of deserving, telling myself that nobody's going to save me, I have to save myself, and then come to a place where I feel comfortable and safe getting my own belongings. That entailed a certain level of guilt, realizing that entitlement also means that I was a user. And if you're in that place right now where you find yourself being handed things and you just think your family is supporting you and that you deserve support, what about that day when they decide to withhold their support? When they retract the hand of kindness, do you find yourself blaming them for your circumstances rather than taking ownership and responsibility why you don't have things without a handout? This goes back into that quote about getting fed a fish being versus taught to fish. And one of my yogis that I follow online, Sadhguru, he goes into a parable, a Hindu parable about a mouse that is rescued by a sage in a cave. And the sage transforms him into a cat because he's afraid that the cat is going to come get him. Now the cat disappears, but then a dog appears. Now he's afraid that the dog is going to eat the cat, so he transforms the mouse into a dog. And this goes on until finally the sage transforms the mouse into a lion. Now the problem here is that the lion, no longer has anything to worry about, but because it still has the mind of a mouse, that lion starts to produce all sorts of irrational thinking in his head. He's like, what if another animal, what if they know that I'm secretly a mouse? And then he comes up with a solution. I know, if I kill the sage is the only one that knows I'm a mouse, then I'll be a real lion. So he comes upon the sage while the sage is sleeping. But the sage knows the intent. The sage wakes up and transforms him right back into a mouse. Now, what's the moral of this story? This has everything to do with the deserving when it comes to gift giving and receiving. The lesson goes both ways, where a person that is not worthy to receive something because it is above their station, they're going to find a way to sabotage it and lose it anyway. And when it comes to your personal level of deserving versus entitlement, if you find yourself walking on eggshells thinking about losing your station in life, and you find yourself riddled with anxieties, thinking of all the possible ways that you could lose the conveniences that you have and how life would suck if you didn't have this, that comes from a place of entitlement rather than deserving. And that means the universe is going to test you. I've seen plenty of folks that have been straddling the line of homelessness because the universe somehow robbed them of their situation, and they realized that they were on unstable ground to begin with. Or they lose their phone, they don't have the means to buy another one, but it was an iPhone. And whatever it is that we've come into, if it was not come into in a deserving way, if we didn't earn it ourselves, there's going to be that insecurity that we'll lose it. So I'm here to help you not just raise your vibration, but also maintain it, so that you can break these cycles of accumulation and loss. And when you begin to when you begin to accumulate things for yourself again, that you'll know the difference between this being temporary or permanent. And that has everything to do with the level of anxiety or peace and calm that comes with it. Let's see, if I had an example, and I'm going to pick up this dog toy right now. So we got this Nerf ball. So if someone were to toss this to me and I catch it and I hold it, because I know that I'm a good receiver, I know how to catch a ball and hang on to it. But if I'm not a good receiver, I'm gonna fumble with this ball and eventually it's gonna drop. But what preceded that? What preceded the ball drop right there? What preceded that was, first of all, the lack of confidence in thinking that I can catch the ball and maintain it. And then all the level of anxiety as well as relief, thinking, oh, I got it for now, but wait, I'm gonna lose it, I got it, I'm gonna lose it, and then I ultimately dropped the ball. I was not maintaining a mental state that was allowing me to hang on to what I got. So this anxiety, we're going to dig deep into what produces these feelings of deserving or not in your life, and how to uphold your levels of self-worth, self-deserving, and how this translates from our internal world out into the physical world that we manifest for ourselves. Now, gonna look around at this cute little backyard. I'm not a mega millionaire yet. I rent with a bunch of ladies, but would you believe that 2 years ago I was in the most abusive relationship of my life? I had just left a 4-year relationship. I was physically and sexually assaulted, emotionally deprived, sexually deprived. I became very repressed. I became very withdrawn, very insecure, very unsafe in my body. And those feelings of, lack of safety translated to everything around me. And it took me a year and a half to finally rebuild. And throughout this pandemic, so I faced the prospect of homelessness. I lost my home, I couldn't pay rent, and I was asking my mentors to take me in, and I lived at someone else's expense for 6 months. And then I decided to ascend quickly. I decided at that point, I was going to be worthy of taking care of myself. And I made this bold move from the east to west coast, coming from the Baltimore, Virginia area, and out to Arizona. Now I've been in Arizona almost a year, and I'm very grateful that I've not had to crawl back to my support network. That, you know, finally I'm maintaining a certain level of accumulation, and now I'm in the process of evolving more little by little, so that first I'm focusing on maintaining my results, and that I'm not going to face homelessness again or joblessness, but then to rise to the next level of deserving, and that every new accumulation, I know this time it's going to be permanent, because it's no longer dependent on a boyfriend, a parent, a friend, a colleague. These are accumulations that I made on my own out here, and I'm going to teach you how to do the same. So that was my intro for today. Definitely a lot more. Upcoming videos, we're going to dig deep into even particular manifestations. You know, I've had so many miracles happen in my life. I'm going to have future videos that are going to talk about how I manifested a car with like the worst credit score. You can do it, I'm serious. And also how, you know, I manifested a baby, a miracle pregnancy, after over a decade of infertility. You know, this one, ladies, if you've been, you know, struggling with the concept of motherhood and infertility, or, you know, you feel like you were destined for this and you just don't know when, and you think about that timing, you know, but I'm going to have special videos on the side about particular manifestations in my life and what my frame of thought was preceding that. So I hope you enjoyed. If you thought this was awesome, please like, subscribe, and be sure to follow.